Okay, well, welcome to this lecture on chapter 19, in which we will introduce possessive suffixes on plural nouns. So it's just, I think, natural that we should review the possessive suffixes on singular nouns first. Just to remind us of that, then we'll go over the forms of possessive suffixes on plural nouns. Not a whole lot that's new there. Futato also covers this verb to be able because it's a funky verb in Hebrew, and so we'll cover that as well, and then we'll do some vocab and some practice. So let's review our possessive suffixes on singular nouns. Remember that these communicate possession, so it's a way of saying his horse or her land, things like that. So possession here. Here are the suffixes that get added. So our third masculine singular is this holem vav o. Third feminine singular is a, and this is a mapik in the middle here, communicating that this hey is actually functioning as a consonant, not a vowel. And then the shava, kaf, kamets here is our second masculine singular. Second feminine singular, hetzere, kaf, so ech. First common singular is hirak yod, e. Third masculine plural, am. Third feminine plural, an. Second masculine plural is a chem. Second feminine plural is a hen. And then anu is our first common plural. So on masculine nouns, we get suso. There's no particular ending added to these masculine nouns prior to the suffix, so no change happens. Sus-a, susecha, susech, susi, susam, susan, susechem, susechen, susenu. With our feminine singular, we add this kamets tav for the most part. A few of these get patak tav endings, and this is related to how feminine singular nouns form the constructs. So remember, a lot of times they will add that patak tav there. So we get susato, susatta, susata, susatecha, susatech, susati, susatam, susatan, susatchem, susatchen, hen, and susatenu here. So again, being able to spot the suffixes, knowing those forms, very important, and then this just tells you the gender of the noun that it's being added to. So possessive suffixes on plural nouns, the forms are very similar but slightly different from masculine and singular. From masculine and feminine nouns. So our singular form, as I said, it doesn't add anything additional to the noun. To add, like we don't get a special ending. Our masculine plural nouns, though, when the suffix gets added to them, they take this yod construction. So different vowels introduce it. Like we got a patak here, a shaba, or a segol here, kabetz here, tsere here. And this is related to the tsere yod ending of masculine plural in the construct. And so this is where it comes from, although it's going to take different forms depending on what kind of suffix is being added. The suffixes are similar. Instead of a cholam vav, we just get a vav here. Instead of a kamets hey, we get a hey kamets. And then instead of a hirak yod, we get this patak yod. Instead of just am, we get haim, which is related to our personal pronouns. So those have already prepped us for this. So we get hem, we get hen here for third feminine singular, and then same ending for the second masculine plural, this chem and chen. But what's different is the tsere yod here, making sure you know this is a plural noun that it's being added onto. Similar here with the tsere yod as opposed to just the tsere. Come on, computer. So we get susav, and the pronunciation for that, Futato gives you on the top page 115. So instead of aiv or something like that, it's just av. Suseha, susecha, susaich, susai, susechem, susehen, susechem, susechen, and then susenu. So again, the suffixes are similar, and so seeing this, the holum, the hey, comets, and all the way down, but just remembering to look for, well, is my noun singular or plural? And thankfully, in the masculine plural form, again, we have that sere yod, so this is a very helpful thing to spot, very common in terms of construct forms in the Old Testament, so that it shows up here is helpful. Yeah. So when we do some practice, and hopefully you're doing the practice that Furtado offers in the textbook, that will help you to just hone your skills of spotting these. And just remember that the vast majority of Hebrew words are 3 consonants here. Sus here, the vav is standing in there. So being able to kind of narrow in on, okay, where's my root? And then what's been added to what prefixes have been added, what suffixes have been added, how the vowels change. That's all helping us to understand how this particular idea is showing up in a sentence. So that's for our masculine plural nouns. Again, they get this this vowel with a yod construction, lets us know that it's plural, and then similar but not the same suffixes being added on here. Our feminine plural, not feminine plural, our feminine plural has very similar endings to the masculine plural. You see the vowel yod construction on these all throughout these. And so again, look for that. That's going to tell you that we're dealing with a plural noun on which these suffixes have been added. And again, the pluralization is not of the suffix, it's of the noun that is being added to. So this is the difference here between his mare and his mares. So that's the difference that we're talking about here. We're not somehow pluralizing this pronoun. No, that would be to move it down here and add a completely different suffix onto it. So the difference here, you've got the yod construction that's telling us it's plural, but we have to be able to spot the ot of the feminine plural noun. So what we get is susotav, and then susotecha, susotecha, susotaich, susotrai, susotechem, susotehen, susotechem, susotechen, and susotenu. So again, looking at these suffixes, we have a holum that's added here. We have a hey comets. We've got a kaf comets. We've got a kaf. We've got this patak yod. We've got the hey segol mem, hey segol nen, nun, kaf segol mem, kaf segol nun, and then the nun shurek. So very similar. We've started to add that in, I think, to our vocab, to our sense of Hebrew, and we're just spotting that yod that's there. So we add this again to our list of suffixes that we are looking for. So what are those suffixes? Like a hirak yod mem, telling us we're dealing with a masculine plural. Cholam vav tav, telling us we're dealing with a feminine plural. The tsere yod ending of a masculine plural construct. The patak tav of a feminine singular construct. These are all suffixes that we're learning, along with the suffixes for on a singular noun, so that holum, the comets hey, all that stuff. This is over chapter 16, which introduced these on singular nouns, and now chapter 19. This can feel like a lot, but again, there is some overlap with the other suffixes you've already learned, like the tav comets here at least lines up with the comets of the second masculine singular suffix. Likewise, the tav shava of our cal perfect second feminine singular helps us with the shava here. Similar, we've got in the the Cal Perfect, we've got tem as our second masculine singular ending 10. So the kafs are kind of switching out with tavs here in the second masculine and second feminine plural. The nu is our same ending with our Cal Perfect first common singular. The hirak yod is our already associated with our Cal Perfect. So yes, we're adding new suffixes for you to know, but you've already got some pegs there to help you out. I'm sure you're all doing this anyway, but just kind of slowing down as you're looking at a word, saying, okay, where is my core? Can I identify my 3 root consonants? Do I recognize prefixes? Do I recognize suffixes? Have there been any vowel changes? And all that letting you know what a word is doing in its sentence. So here's some more examples of words, and these are some of the common words. So divrechem. So we can spot davar, our 3 consonants here. The dalet isn't a prefix, we know, so we can kind of narrow this down. We've got the tsere yod of a masculine plural, and a hem, which is our 3rd masculine plural ending. And again, this is plural, so this is what we need to remember. So this would be 3rd masculine plural is their possession, words, not their word, their words. Elohechem. So we've got Elohim here, L-O-L, and then we've got the tsere yod, and the hem is our 2nd masculine plural. So this would be your God or your gods. So Elohechem is very, very often used for the Lord your God, those kind of constructions. Einav. So this is the word ayin, which means an eye. And then we've got this construction of the av, which is the masculine, is the plural form of the 3rd masculine singular ending. And so this would be his eyes, his 3rd masculine singular eyes, because it's a plural form, because it's got that yod construction prior to the suffix that we've already memorized. Yadenu. Here we can isolate the tsere yod, introducing a suffix we know. So this is our first common plural possessive suffix. This is the almost bridge ending that puts it onto a masculine plural word, and then that narrows it down, even though we only have 2 consonants, so we might be confused, but then we can remember yad means hand or power, so this would be our hands, because it's got that tsere yod, the plural there. And then banecha. So again, we've got this suffix. Our 2nd masculine singular suffix is preceded by this vowel yod construction. So this tells us that this is a plural noun that has a possessive suffix on it. And so this would be your sons. And this your is 2nd masculine singular. So keeping the singular of a potential suffix and the or I guess I would say the number of the suffix and the number of the noun, understanding that those can be different, because you could be talking to a singular person who's possessing it, but they're possessing multiple things. So for example, here we have your 2nd masculine singular, sons is a plural noun. So those are some of the examples, and you can see how you've got some vowel changes that happen here from davar, but divrei is our masculine plural construct form of that. Same with Elohe being from Elohim, it's the masculine plural construct. So, and then this ain, remember when we talked about certain words with the diphthong? So this construction of the patak, yod, hirak takes a long time for a Hebrew speaker to say, so when it's in construct, it reduces to the tsere yod, ain. So this would be eye of, in this case, it's eyes of, or it's eyes because it has this construction with the comments yod going on. So yeah, noticing the core here is learning the forms of the suffixes. So there's O, this kametz hey, this kaf kametz, the kaf shava, the hirek yod, the kametz mem, the kametz nun, the kaf segol mem, the kaf segol nun, and the nun shurek, and then these in the plural form. Kind of getting those down so you can spot those when you come to a word, and then kind of work your way backwards. Okay, what's the word? Is it singular? Is it plural? Those kind of things. All right. Then Furtado wants to go over this, the verb to be able, which you learned as part of your vocab. So yachol, yachol. Now normally, and this is, I think, perhaps a helpful way to remember this, because it's going to look kind of backwards in terms of our the perfect and imperfect conjugations that we have learned. Just remember that this is the lexical form, yachol, yachol. So remember, our lexical forms are cal perfect 3ms forms, and already we normally have a kametz here, but here we have a cholam instead of the patak we would expect. And remember, this goes all the way back to, I don't remember what chapter we introduced the cal perfect, but when we talked about the cal perfect, we talked about how any lexical form that you're learning, if it's got a cholam theme vowel, and the theme vowel is the vowel that's on, on the second root consonant, means it's a stative verb. That is, it's talking about a status, so this could be present, present condition, and that fits with its meaning, to be able. So this would mean he is able, as opposed to a normal action cal perfect verb, which tends to be past completed action. And similarly, we're going to see in the imperfect, we have this patak theme vowel, and again, patak theme vowels in the imperfect are for stative verbs. So just to go through this paradigm, and Furtado has it listed out for you on page 115, we have yachol, yachala, yacholta, yacholt, yacholti, yachalu, yachaltem. Sorry, this is a kametz hatuf. Yacholtem, and then yacholten, and then yacholna. Sorry, yacholnu, yacholnu. Sorry about that. So we've got our standard suffixes here, so nothing strange about that. What is tricky about this verb is that it's got this yod. The yod is the first root consonant, so all first yods are going to trip us up in figuring out, is this perfect or imperfect. So the comments underneath that should be helpful for being able to spot that. Remember that comments under, that we haven't met a verb that's got the comments under the prefix, so that's going to be helpful. And then the unique endings, suffixes for the perfect conjugation. There's a few overlap, like the shurek here, between third masculine plural and the perfect and the imperfect. But for the most part, they are unique suffixes for the perfect over against the imperfect. And so not getting lost and kind of identifying it, but then getting confused about perfect and perfect. Keeping those bits of information together in your brain will be helpful for parsing this guy. In the imperfect, what happens is the yod goes away and we get the shurek that's there. And again, the theme vowel is a patak because it's a stative verb. So we get yuchal, tuchal, tuchal, yuchali, uchal, yuchalu, tuchalna, tuchalu, tuchalna, and nuchal. So this, remember, we've got some problem roots already in terms of the imperfect. We've got our first nouns, our third hays, our first yod, vavs, and then we've got a couple of just tricky roots that like to act differently. So we've talked about halach, lakach, and we might as well add yachol in there because that will, this is just a strange thing for this verb to do, of losing the yod and then it becoming a shurek. Somebody is bound to ask how common this verb is. I had that information and then forgot to write it down, so I'm looking it up. So it is fairly common, and so this isn't just a sort of esoteric verb. So a lot of times in the Brown Driver Briggs Hebrew lexicon, if it's a rare form, it'll have this little insignia next to it that tells you, okay, every single instance of this verb is going to be talked about in this little dictionary entry. Yachol does not have that, so it's going to come up a lot. And so I wish I could say, oh, it's funky, but it's rare. But I think adding it to our list of trouble children so that we can look for example, first noon, we're looking for an assimilated noon, a strong dogish, a third hey. We're just looking for either a consonant that's disappeared or a yod that's come up, or a segol in the imperfect. Our first yod vav, we're looking for seres all over the place, as somebody said in our last online session. Lakach, we just have to remember the kof and the chet, that's going to have a dagesh in it because the lamed has snuck in there, assimilated. Halach is going to just have the lamed and the kaf that then have seres all over the place, and then yachol is going to have the shurek that shows up. So developing this list and keeping it in your mind as you do your parsing detective work is going to be helpful. All right, the vocab for this chapter is on page 116. So we get az, which means then, im, which means if, bilti, which means so that not, or so as to not do so and so, or kind of it's a preventative phrase. Gam is also or even. Ko is thus. Ki is because or that. It can also introduce speech. Ki'im is unless or except. Lachen is therefore. Lema'an is in order to. And pen is so that not, or lest. Lest is another, lest you do this. So that's our vocab. I've got a couple of practice sentences here for us. Chayom hazeh omar et chol divrai bi oznechem. Oznechem. So we start with hayom, which is the definite article on the noun yom, which is the day. The day. Chazeh is the this. And so it is following this noun, it's agreeing in gender, number, and definiteness, so we get this day. The day, the this day. Here's our verb, omar. And here's our definite direct object marker. So here's going to be where our object and indirect object and things like that. Before this is going to be the verb and who's doing the action for the verb, things like that, because this looks like a standard construction, omar. So this has the three root consonants of amar, which is to speak. But then we have this O that's over the aleph, and that's where we can get into a little bit of confusion. What do we do with this? And so our first alephs, those five, let's see if I can remember them. Oh, no. Remembering two different ones. And achal. So these five roots, they do something different in the imperfect, that the aleph quiesces and often takes the holum of the prefix, which is a different holum for the imperfect, over the aleph. So this is actually the aleph of the prefix, which is a first common singular cal imperfect. So this would be I am speaking. And it fits with a present continuous because it's been introduced with this day. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to say this day I will speak. I mean, maybe it will. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you say something like this. But I would push that more into the present. It's got that sense of the present in it. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of all these. So we have this day I am speaking. And then we have our definite direct object marker. So this is what I'm speaking. Kol is all, every, or whole, all. Divrei, divrei. So we can recognize here the construct state of davar, and particularly in the plural sense. So this is the words. Then we also have this patak yod, and this is the first common singular masculine plural possessive suffix. So this is my words, my words. So this ending is for a plural noun. This is the construct form of davar in the plural. We get this hirek shava here. And so there's a couple of ways we could have gotten the fact that this is plural, the patak under here as opposed to the hirek yod. And then just the vowel construction. So my words, the is in, at, or with, and then we have oznechem, oznechem. Well, we can start with the fact that this has the suffix on it. This is the second masculine plural suffix, and it's got the tzere yod, so it's on a plural. It's on a plural noun, and azen, but recognizing this as a kametz hatuf is ozen. Ozen is ear. Ozen is ear, and this is plural, so ears. So this is how ozen shows up in the construct, and then with this possessive suffixes on it. So we could put the sentence together. This day I am speaking all my words in your ears. So again, this is a riff off of a verse in Deuteronomy that had another verb, but this gave us a chance to put Omar in there. The second example here, Tishmeru ata ve'ishtecha ve'benecha ve'bitcha et torati, kol hayomim hachayim. Woo! This is a good one. So here we have our verb, and here we have our definite direct object marker. In between the verb and the definite direct object marker is our subject. And we can already see this is going to be a bit of a doozy. But in between the verb and the direct object marker is the subject. So remember that. So we have tishmeru. This is a cal imperfect second masculine plural from shamar, to guard, keep, or observe. And so this is you or y'all will keep or guard. Y'all will guard. And then we get the subject. And so this is supplying more specificity on the y'all. So we already know who the subject is because Hebrew verbs have the subject built in, but then sentences can add other nouns or pronouns after a verb, oftentimes after a verb, to give us more specificity on this. So ata is our second masculine singular personal pronoun meaning you. The and ishtecha, ishtecha. So here we have our second masculine singular possessive suffix. It doesn't have a yod before it, so this is a singular noun that's coming before it. Ishte is the construct form of isha, which means woman or wife. So we're going to say wife instead of saying your woman. So you and your wife. Okay, and then we get the ben. Oh, well, I should have. This should be a hirek here. Anyway, but so we have the cha again, our second masculine singular meaning your, and then this is the son, your son. Your son. Again, there's no yod in between here, so it's not plural. Vebitcha, again, suffix, second masculine singular, your, and this is how daughter becomes construct. So the subject here is you, your wife, and your son and your daughter. All of y'all will keep. So you, your wife, your son, and your daughter will keep or guard. Et, what are we guarding? Torati, torati. And so here we have a hirek yod ending, which is the first common singular, meaning my. Torat is our possessive form for Torah, which is my instruction. And it's not instructions because we don't have the Cholam Vav Tav or a Patak Yod here. So you shall keep all my instruction, or my Torah, perhaps. Kol is all, every, or whole. Chayomim, chayomim. Here we've got yom and a masculine plural ending and a definite article. So we have the days, all the days. Ha-chayim, ha-chayim. So here we have another masculine plural agreeing indefiniteness, and we get this adjective chai, which means alive or living. And this is an attributive adjective, all your living days or something. So we might smooth that out to say all the days of your life, all your living days. So pulling all together, what we have is you and your wife and your son and your daughter will keep or guard my instruction or my Torah all your living days. All the living days. I guess there's no possessive on here, so it's all the living days. Okay, number 3, lo ira et oyevai. So lo is not, ira. We have a prefix we recognize in this aleph, and then we have 3 consonants, yod, resh, aleph, which is to fear or be afraid. What's a little different is we have this hirek here, and there's no vowel under the yod, which is what we'd expect. But then we remember this is a first yod, and in a first yod, the shava is gone, and we form this hirek yod with the vowel, the prefix vowel, and the first root yod. And so this is a first common singular cal imperfect, which means I will fear. But then we've got the lo, so I will not fear. Definite direct object marker. So this is what is receiving the action of the verb. It's not doing the action of the verb. And then we have oyevai. So we can recognize the suffix. The patak yod here is my, but it's on a plural. Remember, this is the form that goes on a masculine plural. Noun. Sorry, that word was lost to me. Masculine plural noun. So whatever this is, it must be plural. Oyev. Oh, enemies. That's another vocab word we've had recently. So I will not fear my enemies. Lo ira et oyevai. Perhaps you want to see I will not fear my exams or something. All right, 4th one. Na'ale bachar Adonai u bimkom kadsho neshev. All right, na'ale. We can recognize this prefix. This is a cal imperfect, first common plural. So it's for we, and perhaps we will or we are something. Allah is to go up. So we will go up. We will go up. And we've got a few differences here. Our prefix is a patak because it's a first guttural. We've got a chatef patak here because it's a first guttural. And we have a segol hey because that's how third heys show themselves to be vowels in the imperfect, the segol hey in the cal imperfect. Bechar. So here we have a prefix be, in, at, with. Har is mountain or hill. What did you learn? I think, did you learn it was hill or mountain? Look back. Or mountain or hill country. Okay, we'll go with mountain. Adonai is Lord. Okay, so here we have a makef telling us that this is in the construct, which is very helpful because har otherwise as a single syllable word with a short vowel isn't going to show us any vowel reduction. So we would be forced to kind of figure it out just by having 2 nouns there. We just have in hill, Lord, and we have to remember, oh, construct, but the makef here is really helpful and says, I'm in construct with the Lord. So we will go up. Maybe contextually this we might want to understand this on the mountain of the Lord. It becomes definite because this is a proper name. So we will go up on the mountain of the Lord, and this conjunction here, and it's a shurek because of the bump rule. Remember, when you've got a bait, a mem, or a pei that's beginning a word, the vav becomes a shurek. B is, we've got makom here, which is place, right? Place. And so then this bait must be the preposition bait. So in, at, with, something like that. Хорошо, хорошо. Actually, it's a closed unaccented syllable, so this is kamatatuf. Kodsho. So here we have a possessive suffix meaning his. Kodesh is holiness. We might notice now that we have some vowel reduction here on makom. So we have two nouns. We have holiness and place. Instead of being a kametz normally here, we have a shava, vowel reduction happening. So this may be the place of his holiness. Again, when you've got possessive suffix, that makes a whole construct phrase definite. So, and in the place of his holiness, neshev. Here we've got, again, a kal, imperfect, first common plural of yashav. So we've got the prefix we recognize, then we've got doubled seres all over the place, so that reminds us of a first yod vav, where the yod has gone away, and we've gotten the doubled seres which show up. So this is we will dwell, perhaps. So putting it all together, we will go up. Again, contextually, I would argue saying on the mountain of the Lord, and in the place of his holiness we will dwell, and in his holy place we will dwell.